Indians have migrated across the world for centuries, contributing significantly to various economies and cultures. While many countries welcome Indians for their skills, businesses, and hard work, some nations remain hostile due to historical conflicts, political tensions, religious differences, or deep-rooted racism. In certain places, Indians face discrimination, visa restrictions, labor exploitation, racial profiling, and even violence. Many countries in the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa have strict laws, unfair workplace policies, or growing nationalist movements that make life difficult for Indians. Whether it's migrant workers suffering exploitation, professionals facing job restrictions, or tourists experiencing racism, these nations have become increasingly unwelcoming. Here's a look at 10 countries where Indians face extreme hate, making them some of the toughest places for Indian nationals. 10. South Africa. Despite a large Indian origin community, racism against Indians remains a major issue in South Africa. The rise of anti-Indian political rhetoric, especially from some black nationalist groups, has led to increased hostility and violence against Indians. Many Indians have been targeted in riots, looting, and land disputes, with political leaders blaming them for economic problems. Indians in South Africa often face hate crimes, business discrimination, and political exclusion. The government's employment policies prioritize black South Africans, making job opportunities for Indians limited. Rising crime rates and racial tensions make South Africa an increasingly dangerous place for Indian residents. 9. Ukraine. Since the Russia-Ukraine war, anti-Indian sentiment has increased, partly due to India's neutral stance on the conflict. Many Ukrainians view India's relationship with Russia negatively, leading to bias against Indian students and workers. Indian medical students, who previously came to Ukraine in large numbers, have faced discrimination, visa issues, and even verbal abuse. Some businesses are reluctant to hire Indians due to political biases and stereotypes. Reports of racism in public transport, universities, and rental housing have surfaced, making daily life difficult for Indians. Additionally, language barriers and cultural differences create further challenges for Indians in Ukraine. 8. Kuwait. Like other Gulf nations, Kuwait depends on Indian labor but provides little protection for Indian workers. Many face exploitation, racial discrimination, and unfair wages. The government has imposed stricter visa policies, even considering a ban on Indian migrants, citing population concerns. Indian domestic workers often report physical abuse, forced labor, and poor living conditions. Despite a long history of Indian presence in Kuwait, racism persists, and migrant workers have limited legal rights. The public perception of Indians is often negative, with locals treating them as low-status laborers. Skilled professionals also face job restrictions, as companies prefer hiring Arabs or Westerners for higher-paying roles. With unfriendly policies, growing nationalism, and workplace discrimination, Kuwait is becoming increasingly unwelcoming for Indians. 7. Qatar. Qatar relies on Indian labor for its infrastructure and service industries, but migrant workers face harsh conditions, discrimination, and even abuse. The kafala system restricts workers' rights, leading to exploitative contracts, withheld wages, and poor living conditions. Many Indian laborers have suffered inhumane treatment, long working hours, and health risks, especially in the construction sector. Reports of racism in public spaces, job discrimination, and poor legal protections for Indians are common. Indian professionals in Qatar also face barriers in career growth, as local policies often favor Arab and Western expatriates. Despite contributing significantly to Qatar's economy, Indians are often treated as second-class citizens. With strict laws, limited freedoms, and ongoing human rights concerns, Qatar remains a challenging place for many Indians to live and work. 6. Indonesia. Although Indonesia has a diverse population, Hindu and Indian communities face discrimination, particularly in rural areas. Anti-Indian sentiment stems from religious and cultural differences, with some extremist groups targeting Hindus due to Indonesia's increasing Islamic conservatism. Indian workers and businesses have faced bureaucratic obstacles, and visa policies have been tightened for Indian nationals. In the job market, Indonesians often prioritize local workers over Indians, making it difficult for Indian professionals to find opportunities. Indian tourists have reported cases of racial profiling, overcharging, and unfair treatment compared to Western visitors. The political narrative in Indonesia has sometimes aligned with Pakistan on global issues, leading to diplomatic tensions with India. While urban areas like Jakarta and Bali may be more welcoming, the increasing religious influence, political biases, and discrimination in the workforce create an unwelcoming environment for many Indians. 5. Malaysia. Malaysia has a significant Indian origin population, particularly of Tamil descent, yet discrimination against Indians is widespread. The Malay Muslim majority government has imposed policies that favor Malays over Indians in education, jobs, and business opportunities. Many Indian Malaysians face economic marginalization and racial profiling by authorities. Hindu temples have been demolished, and cultural practices are often restricted under Islamic laws. Indian migrant workers face exploitation, low wages, and harsh working conditions, especially in the plantation and service industries. There have also been cases of police brutality against Indians, with some deaths in custody reported. Political leaders have openly made racist remarks about the Indian community, fueling social divisions. Indian professionals struggle with bureaucratic hurdles and limited career growth due to preferential policies favoring ethnic Malays. Despite its multicultural image, Malaysia remains a deeply unequal society, where Indians face institutional discrimination and societal prejudice, making it a tough place for many to live and work. 4. Turkey. Turkey has been growing closer to Pakistan politically, which has resulted in increasing anti-India sentiment in recent years. The Turkish media, influenced by government propaganda, often takes a pro-Pakistan stance and criticizes India's policies, particularly regarding Kashmir. Indians in Turkey have reported facing discrimination in universities, workplaces, and even daily interactions. While Turkey is a popular tourist destination, Indian visitors have occasionally faced rude behavior, harassment, or biased treatment compared to Western tourists. Turkish authorities have also imposed tough visa restrictions on Indians, making long-term stays or business activities difficult. Many local businesses are reluctant to hire Indians, especially in professional roles, due to political biases. The growing Islamist influence in the country has further alienated Indian Hindus and Sikhs. While Istanbul and other major cities may offer some level of tolerance, the political tensions, media narratives, and rising nationalism contribute to an increasingly hostile environment for Indians. 3. China. India and China have had a tense relationship due to border disputes and economic competition. Anti-Indian sentiment has grown, particularly after the Galwan Valley clashes in 2020, leading to hostility toward Indian businesses and people. Many Chinese media outlets portray India in a negative light, reinforcing prejudices. Indian students, workers, and business professionals in China have reported discrimination in jobs, education, and daily life. The Chinese government imposes strict visa policies on Indians, and some have been detained under espionage suspicions. With increasing geopolitical rivalries, Chinese authorities discourage interaction with Indians, making business operations difficult. Additionally, Indian-owned businesses and products have been targeted with boycotts and cyber attacks. The surveillance-heavy environment adds another layer of discomfort for Indians, especially those engaged in trade or technology. Though urban centers may be more tolerant, the political tension, government restrictions, and rising nationalism make China an extremely difficult country for Indians. 2. Pakistan. Due to the long-standing conflict between India and Pakistan, Indians face significant hostility in the country. Political tensions, religious differences, and past wars have fueled anti-Indian sentiment for decades. While ordinary citizens may not always express direct hate, the government policies, media, and extremist groups contribute to a highly unwelcoming environment. Indians, particularly Hindus and Sikhs, often face discrimination and are viewed with suspicion. Strict visa restrictions make it difficult for Indians to visit, and those who do are often monitored closely by authorities. Even Indian-origin Muslims may face challenges due to deep-rooted political rivalries. The blasphemy laws in Pakistan can also be dangerous for Indian visitors, as accusations, sometimes false, can lead to severe punishments. Tensions between the two nations have led to boycotts of Indian products and businesses, and Indian professionals struggle to find opportunities in Pakistan. Overall, extreme nationalism and anti-India propaganda make Pakistan one of the most hostile places for Indians. 1. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a large Indian workforce, but many face discrimination and harsh working conditions. The kafala system, which ties workers to their employers, often results in exploitation, withheld wages, and abuse. Many low-wage Indian workers in construction, domestic work, and hospitality suffer long hours, poor living conditions, and limited legal protections. Reports of racial discrimination are common, with Indians often treated as second-class citizens. The strict Islamic laws also pose challenges for Indians, especially non-Muslims, who may face religious restrictions. While skilled professionals may have better experiences, the majority of Indian laborers struggle with workplace abuse, racism, and lack of rights. There have been cases of Indian domestic workers facing physical abuse and even death due to mistreatment by employers. Despite economic opportunities, Saudi Arabia remains one of the toughest places for Indians due to labor exploitation, lack of freedom, and discriminatory policies that make their lives difficult and sometimes even dangerous.